And this is the oil tank diagram on my Dio, but it works exactly the same. What we have here is an oil tank for the two-stroke injector oil, which is right there. Then we have a filter that goes down, and this goes right down to our little oil pump. This is an oil pump right here. This oil pump is driven off the crankshaft. This shaft goes down and goes off a gear on the crankshaft. What we have is an intake for the oil, and you can see it's kind of large, and on the other side it's very, very small, and this goes to the side of the carburetor, which it pumps the oil in there. Now what this does is, this is a spring-loaded throttle switch. What happens is, when on your carburetors you have a line that goes to your throttle, and it's connected, it also goes to here. So when it pulls on the throttle, it also pulls on this. And the way that works is, the more the engine is revved, the more oil you're going to need. So what this does is, as you give it more throttle and you pull open this, it pumps more oil in there. Now when we talk about oil, I'm talking about it. See that, how small it is? It puts maybe a tiny drop every second in there. Just a tad. You wouldn't believe it how much it does. But that's how the oil pump works. And of course, I have a lot of spares because I don't use it. I use two-stroke oil, and injector oil is different from two-stroke mixing oil. Okay, so you don't want to mix them up. Now we have the tank, which consists of, it's some kind of weird plastic, but it's pretty cool. And this is where the sensor goes. That tells you if you have low oil. And on the bottom here, what we have is a filter, a fine mesh filter. Now on these filters, let me say one thing. These are generally, you don't touch them. You don't add filters to them, nothing. Unless it's broke. Then you're going to have to get a new filter, because you can't run the oil, thick oil, through a gas filter. And that comes and goes right up in here, like this. And you can see it down here. You can see the filter down there. And then of course on top you have your little cap, and you have everything. And usually a tank of oil will go a long ways. Well, it depends on how much you're driving, but it can go hundreds of miles because you're not using that much. But it's good to take it out and take a look at it, clean it, because you don't know. And I'd say just, if you think it's dirty and it needs to be cleaned, go ahead. And another great thing about cleaning the bike is that if I have a problem in the future, you see, here's the inlet to the oil. That goes right down to the carburetor. If you have a problem in the future and you start to have a leak somewhere, you'll say to yourself, man, I fixed that. It was virgin, clean, bling bling, super perfect. And now it's not. And so then you can tell that what's wrong there. This is a little oil sensor right here. And what it has in there is a piece of styrofoam cork. What happens is when the oil's in there, the styrofoam floats to the top and closes the circuit. Okay? Now when the oil gets below this line right here, then what happens is the styrofoam plug drops and the circuit opens. And when it opens, then this wiring will send a signal all the way up to this light right here. And generally you'll never see the red light come on unless you just won't see it come on, because the oil takes so long to run out. So we've cleaned that. on the oil tank, and I've explained to you how the pump works. Now, this is a mechanical pump. Now, one thing I have to say is I've worked on 1985 Honda Townies, things like that. Remember, Honda started building them around then, and they were experimenting. Their pumps on the Townies are electric. It's like a little electric motor with a gear on the end. It's really kind of cool, but it's hard to get out of the bike. All these newer ones are all mechanical, not by wire. And the damn things cost a fortune if you need to replace them. So that's the best thing to do is go on eBay and get something like that. All right, well, I'm going to put this back together and put it aside so that we're ready to put all the clean parts back together, and then we'll go on to the next thing. And step by step, I'll take everything apart, clean it, inspect it, put it on YouTube. And if any of you out there have a gyro and you want to see what one's like absolutely taken down to the nuts, the bare nuts, then this is the place to come to. And then the last thing we'll do is I'll repaint the whole thing professionally. So that's it on Gyro Oil Tankology.